Hello YouTube. In this video I'm going to show you how to perform a clean install of Ubuntu 14.04 LTS. This is going to be the 64-bit system. The install is pretty much the same for the 64-bit or the 32-bit system. 64-bit system's a bit more stable, the 32-bit system's more compatible with various systems. The disk is already loaded onto this, so all I got to do is start up the virtual machine and it will start the install process. I apologize for the screen minimizing. Seems to be a bit of a bug in the newer versions of VirtualBox. As you can guess by the way it's loading up, this is actually a live image. I can play around in Ubuntu 14.04 right here, or I can go ahead and install. In this we're going to do the installation. So click Install Ubuntu. As you can see, there are some minimum requirements. It wants to be connected to the internet and it needs to have at least 6.6 gig available of free disk space. I think it has 40 gig available, maybe 35, but it's more than enough for this install. We're going to go ahead and select download updates while installing. It'll do any of the updates that it needs to for the operating system during installation. And we'll go ahead and let it install the third-party software, which is your Fluendo MP3 plugin, the MPEG Layer 3. So it's just a few different things that will help you out in the long run as far as it goes for multimedia. So once you get those two selected, click Continue. It's going to want to default to erase the disk and install Ubuntu. If that is the only thing you're going to set up on there, you're more than welcome to do that. Hit install now and it'll just go through the process doing the install. In this particular case, I'm going to show you how to do an actual custom setup. So we're going to click something else and click Continue. Now here's your actual drive. This one doesn't have anything on it, so there's no partition table currently on it. We're going to do a new partition table. It'll pop up a warning, just click Continue. And now you can see right here the free space. So this is where we can create our partitions. This thing has 4 gig of RAM, so we're going to want to leave at least 8 gig free for swap space. You can do 1.5 times to 2 times depending on how you're going to use the system. If it's a laptop and the laptop has hibernate mode, you're going to want to do double the amount of RAM. If it's just a standard system, you're not going to do hibernate or anything like that, you'll just shut it down like a desktop, you'll probably want to do 1.5 times the amount of RAM. So as you can see, the first thing it wants to do is set it up with the maximum available disk space. You're going to want to pull up your calculator, multiply 1024 by the amount of gigs of RAM that's in the system. Like I said, this one has 4. So we're going to do this by 4. And you'll see it comes up 4096. That's 4096 megabytes, which is equal to 4 gigabytes. Now if you multiply that by 2, that'll give you your answer for what you need to set it up with as a swap partitioner for this Linux install. Now if you want to do 1.5 times, then all you got to do is multiply this part by 1.5 and you'll see 6144. So at this point we're going to want to subtract 8192 from 21475. And it's always better to go a little bit over, so I'm going to do 8195, and it comes out to 13280. So that's the size that I need to make this primary partition. We're going to set it up as a ext4 journal filing system, so journaling file system, and we're going to make the mount point / which is root. Click OK, and you'll see that it created the first partition. Now we have our free space of 8194. We're actually going to add a new one. We're going to change this to swap area and just click OK. Now, as you can see, it's automatically check marked the first extension, the first ext partition you created is the / for root. It's going to format that automatically, so that way you are set up and ready for the install. So at this point, now that you have your partition set up, you can hit install now. You can create other partitions for separate folders if you want. However, doing it dynamically by using just the / it'll automatically let the different folders grow depending on the requirements and needs of the operating system. Hit install now, and it's going to give you the list, the changes that are going to be written to the disk. Just hit continue. Now you need to set what time zone you're in. For me, I'm actually in Central Time. You can set it to whatever time zone you need to set it for. Once you get it set to Eastern, Mountain, Pacific, Central, whatever you need, just hit continue. And it's English US keyboard layout and English language. If you're not for sure, you can click here and start typing and it'll tell you. For the most part, the majority of it's going to be, if you're doing this in the United States, it's going to be English US layout. Click continue. And now it's time to put in a name. So you can put in your full name. And as you can see, it'll add the extension -VirtualBox to this. If it's an actual PC, it'll actually add the serial number for the PC in, and you can change the computer name to whatever you want it to be. So this is going to be TestBox1. Choose a password. You can put in a password here if you wish. You can also set it up to encrypt the home folder. I highly recommend that you set this up to do that. You don't have to, but it does add a layer of security, and it also helps to keep other people from being able to get in and look at your home folder. You can set it up to log into the account automatically once you put in the password and everything. I always tell it to require the password. For this, we're just going to set up a stupid simple password. Just simply let me in. As you can see, it says that it's a weak password. This one would be very, very easy to crack by brute force attack, or even by dictionary attack or common word. Once you get your password and everything set in, just hit continue. And now it's going to start the process of copying over the files required. At this particular point, there's not a whole lot or anything really that you have to do. So if you need to walk away, go get something to drink, something to eat, or whatever, you're more than good to do so. All you got to do is just check on it from time to time. Depending on your system, it may take anywhere from 2 to 3 minutes to install to possibly a couple of hours, depending on your processor, the amount of RAM, and everything else. This is running on a dual core instance with 4 gig of RAM, so it shouldn't really take it all too long. Once the install finally completes, it's going to come to a screen that says restart now. It'll sit there and wait on you. If you end up doing something, it takes a little while, you got to go somewhere and come back. Anyhow, once you get to this screen, all you got to do is click restart now. Now, if you're using a DVD or ROM or something like that, it's going to eject it. You need to take the DVD out. And then, like it states, just hit enter once you're ready and it'll reboot. Once it reboots, it'll come to the boot up loading screen. And as you can see, we're now ready to log in for the first time. And here we are, Ubuntu 14.04. This over here is the Unity bar, and this is in the GNOME desktop environment. The OS is officially 100% installed and up and running. You can go in and check out some of the programs and stuff that already come with it. It'll already have LibreOffice. You'll have Firefox for the internet browser, a few other little apps here and there. There's not going to be a whole lot installed. You're going to have to go in and install a lot of the software that you want, and there is a lot out there for Ubuntu. There's even the Steam engine application for Steam gaming. There are quite a few of the games that have been converted over for Linux. There's lots and lots of stuff out there for Ubuntu, and there's more and more created all the time. Ubuntu probably has the most support and the largest background and following, and is starting to become highly popular for server distributions and things like that too. It's a very versatile OS, works on many different hardware platforms, and for the most part it has a rather low hardware requirement, unlike some other operating systems. Best thing to do with Ubuntu, if you're not familiar with it, is install it, play around with it, get familiar with it. It's not a bad operating system. It's actually a really good alternative to Windows or OS X. Especially if you're a Mac wanting to switch over to an IBM system, but you don't necessarily want to go with Windows. Ubuntu would be a really good option, and is built off of a Unix operating system, just like the Mac OS is. This information's out there for absolutely everybody. As always, watch, like, and share. Have a great day.